This is Ashyknuckles from Rope-A-Dope Radio. I'm here live with world-class strength and conditioning coach Alex Ariza. Alex, what's going on?
How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. It's a couple of days out for the big fight. How's the champ feeling? How's his weight? How easy was it making weight?
Good. Everything was good. Fortunately, the cancellation of the Ronald Hearns fight was kind of a blessing in disguise because, he never stopped training. So it was a good pre-camp. So when he got to LA, he was already in great shape. He was remarkably low in weight, which is, unusual. I think everybody knows that. So we got to focus more on boxing, more on the conditioning part, which I think was a big deal. I don't think this is going to be much of a technical fight. This is going to be a fight of conditioning and two guys coming straight ahead and, see who gives. Okay.
Well, the champ, he's pretty young. He's a pretty big guy, but he's fighting a guy who's fought north of middleweight at 168 pounds. Is there anything in this game that you feel you have to look out for in particularly?
It's hard to say to look out for one thing because, he's fought, his resume speaks for itself.
Absolutely.
The class of opponents that he has, without a doubt, we don't have that kind of experience yet. But we have had some really good sparring. We've had some great sparring partners. Every sparring day is a tough day in wild card. I think everybody knows that for sure. So we for sure didn't take him lightly. And the way I trained Julio, again, I think this is going to be really a fight of conditioning and which guy can push above and beyond.
Well, absolutely. You get Amir Khan in phenomenal shape, Manny Pacquiao. How much sparring did he get, and who were some of the names that he was sparring with?
He was sparring with Robert Garcia. He was sparring with Lucky Boy. He sparred with a couple of light heavyweights that were there in the gym. I'm not really familiar with their names because they come from other camps. So sparring was very good for us. Good variety. But fortunately, he came in. Like I said, he was already low in weight and in good shape, and we got to just focus on getting ready for this fight.
Okay. Well, I know you're not looking past your opponent for Saturday night. Granted, if he's successful in his title defense this Saturday, who are some of the names that you're looking forward to facing in the future, or do you know?
Well, the only name that I keep hearing him talk about is Canelo, and I think that's what everybody wants to see because it's almost like a country divided. You have some people that are with Julio and some people that are with Canelo, with Alvarez, and so Julio wants to unite the whole thing, and he also has a personal thing with Canelo. He wants to fight him and get it over with. Who's the best Mexican fighter out there? So I think that's a fight that the people want to see. I know that's a fight that we want to get him ready for. It's just it's up to Canelo. He says he wants to fight, so we'll see what happens.
Okay. Well, I'm very familiar with that little rivalry going on in Mexico between Junior and Canelo. I think that fight will be huge, whether it's in Mexico or in Texas or on the West Coast. What weight do you think that would take place at, or will they meet at a catch weight?
Well, Bob has said that in some recent conversations they had talked about maybe 57, 58. For us, we're more than ready. As you can see, he's showing off his body now. So we're more than ready for whatever they want. It'll just take us a little bit longer but with us not having problems like we had getting about, or that he had, we never really had problems making 60 since he's been with us. So, a couple more extra pounds isn't going to really one way or the other for us.
Okay. On a different note, Manny Pacquiao just came out of a pay-per-view event against one man with Marquez, two legends sharing the ring. A lot of ringside observers felt Marquez probably won that fight. A lot of people probably thought Manny Pacquiao won that fight. How do you make sure that Junior doesn't come in the ring overtrained or having leg cramps, so he won't have to go through the same tough type of fight as Pacquiao just encountered?
Well, Manny is a veteran of the sport. He's been doing this for a lot of years. Sometimes, there's some things that they don't like to break away from in their routines and things like that. And we may have made some mistakes, starting Manny too early in camp and sparring too early, and maybe I didn't push some of the things that I should have pushed. So ultimately, I don't think that the performance falls on the blame falls on the fighter. It should fall on me, or because it's my job to get him ready, and maybe I should have pushed some of the issues. I thought it was a good camp. He was mentally and obviously focused for the fight, but we had a bad night, and it's you know, Marquez difficult fighter, but
Absolutely.
you know, sometimes when the other fighter's not cooperating and you know, coming forward and trying to make the fight happen, and he's going back and going back and going back, you know, you just don't get the fight that you want.
Absolutely. Some people feel that you're probably taking too much of the blame of that fight. It's not like Manny Pacquiao was just tired, like he has shown years and years and years ago back at super bantamweight. Do you think you're taking too much of the blame of it, or you think majority of the blame should fall on the fighter?
No, you know, it's not really a question of blame. It's one of those things that you can sit there and look back on it. What I wish I could have done, what I should have done, and you know, it's always hard to slow him down. And you know, overtraining for the last couple of fights has been a problem for us.
Okay.
It's just, you know, sometimes these things need to happen so we can all take a look at what we were doing to be successful in those earlier fights, the last 6 fights before Mosley, and what did we do wrong these last 2 fights.
Okay.
And, you know, once you sit down, you break it down, you look at those things, you know, the solution's right there. I mean, it's obvious.
After the fight, Bob was speaking of making a potential 4th fight between Marquez and Pacquiao. Well, we all know who the fans want to see. So if you could have it your way, if you could speak on behalf of the camp, who would you want next? Who does Pacquiao want next? Call him out.
Well, I know that, you know, I mean, Freddie for sure wants to fight Floyd. Manny wants to fight Floyd. Of course, I would like to. I think that's our biggest challenge out there. I know, and I really truly believe that Floyd wants to fight Manny. I don't know. Unfortunately, I'm not privy to what's done behind closed doors or what's said to this person and the other.
Right.
But unfortunately, you know, or I mean, I don't say unfortunately. It's always possible that one might just call the other and say, "Hey, you know,
let's do
both
it.
men. You know, let's figure out a way to make this thing happen. This is what the fans want. This is what the country wants, and this is what the sport needs."
Absolutely.
So you know, but as far as me thinking that either one of those 2 guys don't want to fight each other, I don't think that's the case. I think I think it's something.
The suits, huh?
It always is. It always is.
All right, that's all the questions I have for you. I want to tell you thank you. You have any closing thoughts for your fans?
Oh, no. Thanks for all the support and everybody who emails me and writes me and stuff like that. I always really appreciate it. Everybody who's pushing for me, and I really appreciate it. And hopefully this Saturday we'll be able to give you guys something to look forward to, and I'm sure you'll be impressed.
All right. Well, this is Ashyknuckles from Rope-A-Dope Radio saying protect yourself at all times. Thanks a lot.
Take care.